Hey guys, welcome back to the tutorial series Introduction to Helm. In this video, we are going to create our first Helm chart. Before we get started, little bit about me. I am JainishShah, software developer. These are the links that you can use to reach me on GitHub, Twitter, and LinkedIn if you have any question. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe now so that you get notification every time when I release a new video to learn about all the cloud native technologies. So let's get started. Today we are going to create a Helm chart to deploy application which looks like this. So we are going to deploy a node application and in our previous tutorial series Kubernetes introduction to Kubernetes, we have done this with different YAML files with different YAML template that we had to create one YAML template for pod, which is part of deployment, then another one for service, and another one to mount the volume to the pod. But with the Helm, Helm makes it easy. Just with one template you can create the volume, everything together, and deploy it in Kubernetes. So let's get started and create our Helm chart. What you need to do, first thing, you need to have the Helm install. In my case, I have Helm version 3.4.2 install already. I have my Minikube up and running, which is a single node Kubernetes cluster, and my my kubectl, which is kube controller, already pointed to the Minikube cluster. So you can see when I run the command, I'm getting the output from the Minikube. Now let's get started. So when you do Helm, when you just run Helm, you can see there is a command called create, which is used to create a new Helm chart. So what we are going to do, we will run Helm create, then you provide name of your application or name of your Helm chart. I'm going to use node version. So you can see it has created the directory along with file inside it for node version. So I am just going to open this in IntelliJ, which is my favorite IDE, and I already have installed the Kubernetes plugin which makes it easy for me to see whether there is a syntactical mistake, something like that, right? It makes it easy for me to remember the format. So now in this case, you can see the template is created, and it has created deployment YAML HPA, which is horizontal pod autoscaler, one file for ingress, service YAML, service account, and this is the helper template. If you want to generate any information, like if you want to randomly generate something, a credential or name or anything, you can use helper template. And there is a taste.yaml file and values.yaml file, which is used to pass values on the go. You can override the values using -- set flag, using set flag. And this is the metadata of our Helm chart.yaml file, where this is name of your Helm chart, right? And version of your Helm chart app version is used to specify the version of your application that you are running, right? So in my case, we are going to use one of my Docker image for node application. So just for this purpose, I'm going to use the latest version. So by default they provide the Nginx Docker image. I'm going to change this to my Docker image, which is JainishShah node version, and for tag, as of now we are using latest, right? So basically, if you see, you can provide the application version from here. If you don't provide any value here in your tag, then it will take the app version as a tag for your image, which I will show you a little bit later. So here we are, those are the other things, but let's now modify the deployment YAML. So with this slight modification that we did, if you run this Helm chart, it will deploy the image and that's it. But we need to make some small modification, like my Docker images. it exposes the application on port 3000. So what I'm going to do, Nginx, the default port for Nginx is 80, but for my application it's 3000. So I'm going to change the container port. Now what I want to do, instead of making this dynamic thing, what I want to do is, instead of making this static, I want to change it and I want to make it dynamic. So what I will do is, in values.yaml, I will create a new section. Let's put it somewhere here. We'll call it node version, and then we'll say the port 3000. Now let's use this in deployment YAML. So I will change it to, I will make it to dynamically get this value from values.yaml. So you can say values, it start with capital values, then we will say node version dot port, which will dynamically take the application port. I'm just checking one thing quickly. Yeah, let's make it a little decent. So I will say container port, and I will change the name to in the values.yaml as well. So from port it will become container port now. Alright, I'm just checking whether I have made any mistake. Nothing that I can think of. Okay. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to add a volume. Right now, so for that, you can see here there is no volume file. So I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it volume.yaml, and here I have pre-created it. I'm just copying and pasting it here, but you can create it using the Kubernetes template, or you can just get the definition from the Kubernetes website. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a persistent volume claim, name volume, and I'm providing it name logs volume, and basically I have specified that it should be read write once, and I need a volume of 3 gig. So that part is done. Now let's go back to deployment, and we will attach the volume to the deployment. So parallel to resource, we will need to add volume mounts, and we can say the volume mount path. For my case, it is going to be let me just quickly check. So yeah, it's user source app logs. That's where my application writes the logs. I am going to use the same name that we have provided in the volume.yaml file, which is logs volume. I'm saying logs volume, and now we also need to specify. So parallel to the node selector, there will be volumes where we will say the volume name. Obviously it will be logs volume. Sorry, it will go here, and it will be a persistent volume claim, and as a claim name we will provide, because the name I kept is log volumes as mentioned in here. So we are saying that use persistent volume claim log volume, mount it to my running container with the location user source app logs. Right, and that's it. And if you see, okay, I have an extra space here. I will just remove one extra space from here. Same thing. Yep. And here we go. So our chart looks good now. Now what I will do is I will just make sure that my Helm chart is perfect. So there is a command Helm lint, which will tell us that the Helm chart is ready to be to be packaged or to be deployed. So it says the chart looks good. The only thing it's missing is the icon. It's recommended to use icon in case if you are going to submit it to a Helm repository like Artifact Hub. So if you see artifact, if you search for Artifact Hub is a universal Helm repository where you can search or you can you can submit your Helm chart as well if you want, if you think that it can be used via community, via other user. But apart from that, if you want to use any third party chart, like let's say if you want to deploy MySQL, right, which is a database in one of your application, and instead of you managing the Helm chart for MySQL, you want to use the available one which is maintained by community, then you can just search for MySQL here, and you will see multiple variation, and you can you can find one which is maintained, very well maintained. So in this case, this MySQL chart is maintained by Bitnami, which is a very popular company. They are highly managing all the Helm charts. So this is the best Helm chart for MySQL, as per my opinion. But you got the point that you can use Artifact Hub to search for the publicly available Helm chart. Think of this as a JCenter for all the Helm charts. Let's go back. So you can, so now we have basically tasted that the syntax of our Helm chart is good. Now let's go ahead and deploy our Helm chart into the Minikube. So I will run command Helm install, and we will have to provide the name. So I'm just going to say node version as a name, and then you will have to provide the location where the chart.yml file is. So I'm specifying the location, and and in a couple of seconds you can see that the Helm chart is deployed. So I have Minikube dashboard enable. You can see the command I'm running here. So let's go to Minikube and see that the application is being deployed, right? The pod deployment is successful. You can see, let's go to pod and see the pod is successful as well. It's up and running. Right, it has attached a persistent volume claim. You can see it here. The volume claim size is 3 gig. If you go to the volumes, you will be able to find the volume as well. So all in all, everything is looking happy. If I run kubectl get all to see all the resources deployed, so you can see there is a pod created, there is a service created, there is a deployment created, replica set, everything just via running one command, right? And the power of Helm is that now you can version your configuration. This is the biggest advantage as compared to just using plain YAML template, right? The other thing is Helm provides the capability of rolling back. In one of the next video, we'll cover how to roll back your Helm deployment as well. But now let's see if we can we can expose or we can access this application. So the command to do that is basically just follow the instruction provided, and you can see I'm just doing exactly the same thing. And the last command is to forward the port. So now what we are doing is we are just forwarding the port 3000 of the container to our local machine on 8080. Now if I try to open the port 8080 on my local machine, I should be able to access my node application, and here we go. I am able to access the application. If I try to see the container log from the UI, so let me go to the pod, let me go and let me see the logs, and you can see my request is there, right? As I requested to hit the home page, and you can see the request, it loaded the home page. If I refresh it again, you might be able to see the new request coming in. So there we go, here we are. This is how we can create the Helm chart and deploy it to Minikube. There is also one more command called Helm package. You have to provide the path, and that will package your Helm chart. Now this is the tar file, or you can say the package Helm chart. which you can deploy to a repository, your Helm repository. If you are using Artifactory, you can deploy this on Artifactory. If you want to deploy it on Helm Hub, you might need to create a pull request, but this is how we can do it. So that's it. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you liked it and I hope you learned something new. Again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you have any question, ask your question in the comment. I will try my best to answer all of your question. Thank you. We'll see you in next video. Bye bye.